Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Metaverse and its companies pulling out, I guess.
Companies pulling out and everyone else pulling back in, something like that. That's the Sopranos line. Like once they took me, I freaking forgot it, but that's what's happening, dude.
Yeah. So Microsoft is pulling their Metaverse team, and Disney is pulling their Metaverse team.
Yeah, I guess these are the headlines. There's obviously like a pile-on happening.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons. So I think the reason why we're making this video, because we kind of are in a position where we have to defend the Metaverse in these types of scenarios.
Yeah.
Right? We're deeply ingrained. We're big believers. To the point where we identify the Metaverse as a potential like saving grace vehicle for humanity in the future, right? Like
after the financial collapse,
the
automation,
the literally removal of humans like contribution to civilization.
Yep,
we might not need us anymore at some point in the future.
Yeah,
like that's the roadmap, right? That's the trajectory we're on.
And so, what is everybody going to be doing?
Yeah,
hanging out in the Metaverse.
It's doing something. I don't know. Hanging out's like not the right way to say it, dude.
Nonetheless, it's like you're going to be spending time in the Metaverse doing something, obviously.
Something. Basically, we're going to need new economic models, right? Or new something. In the future, we might not need individual value, right? Like you can envision a future where...
no physical labor.
Yeah, like if AI and robotics and whatever... We're talking way, way, way in the future. If that could service humanity at scale to where humans don't have to do anything.
We're talking like 20 years in the future. It's not that far.
Maybe like 50.
Yeah. I think the biggest sector in the employment sector is transportation. They're about to get wiped.
Well, yeah.
And then in this decade.
I agree. But what I'm saying, though, can you not foresee a point in time where we might not even need money, period?
Oh, yeah.
Where capitalism no longer makes sense.
Oh, 100%, dude.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, yes.
So in that point,
I've been on that boat for at least like 15 years.
All right, well, that's what we're talking about here, is where the Metaverse, we think, can provide a new alternate dimension, essentially, for humanity's involvement. That's not... We're no longer... Our purpose on Earth isn't just here to
a cog in the system. Yeah,
exactly. Now we're free to explore like different realms, different realities. Figure out, different...
that's definitely like 50 to 100 years from now, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what we're saying. So why are companies pulling out now? I mean, because right now that's just a huge vision.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember these companies need to make some revenue, and right now during these like tumultuous times where the economy is not necessarily as stable as it once was 5 years ago, they have to be very efficient with where they spend money. And
1,000%.
They can't really generate any income in the Metaverse just yet.
Yeah, because if you've been listening to our podcast, following our business development over the last several years with MetaZone and Rovi and stuff, we've identified a lot of like the biggest core dilemmas to the Metaverse through our own experience, right?
Yeah.
It's usually how these things happen. You have to start developing in order to uncover like where all the problems lie.
Yeah.
And it seems to be all of them are all infrastructure related.
Yeah.
There's just literally no solid standards or frameworks to tap into.
Right. Or like worlds to tap into, right?
Well, the reason why there's no worlds is because there's nobody building any virtual environments connected to anything of substance, like a real framework. Right?
Yeah. And if you look at what exists today, you're looking at huge games like Fortnite. It's like, what are you going to have Mickey like don a gun and like start capping fools in Fortnite? I don't think so.
What do you mean? That sounds badass.
Well, I know, but that's not going to happen. That's a hit to the brand.
Oh.
Right? So that's not going to happen.
I guess.
That's the only way.
A hit to the brand, really?
Well, yeah, man. You can't have Mickey holding a gun. Come on.
Really?
Yeah, you cannot do that.
What about like some other Disney IP guy?
Doesn't matter. Cinderella holding a gun? Stop. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, I think we'll spot on this one.
Yeah,
really?
But think about it. Think about it. It's like, all right, you're sitting at the Disney round table, and they're like, "How do we get in the Metaverse?" I was like, "Well, we got Fortnite, we got Roblox, we got Minecraft, we got Decentraland, Sandbox." Is like, these are the handful of places they could exist. The biggest ones are the centralized ones, right? The regular games.
Yeah,
you got a shooter, you got like Minecraft boxes. Like you can't have Mickey in there. And then you got another shooter, so it was like
Well, Roblox, you don't think they can create like a Disney World, literally, like in like
Yeah,
a,
but it's too much effort. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
well,
plug and play for these guys.
correct. And like, again, the whole metaverse as a concept is still too nascent and too risky for like a company of that scale to allocate so much
Yeah.
of the resources to, right? So that's kind of I think that's the big takeaway from what's going on in the metaverse space. Like realizing the commercialization of the metaverse it's not ready. We're not ready for that era to exist
Yeah.
because we're still in that infrastructure era.
Yeah. So basically, Zuckerberg, he pulled a fast one on people, just all of a sudden claiming that the metaverse is the next big thing without having like a product. Like, imagine if Satoshi said, "Hey, I got a solution for our financial problems. It's called Bitcoin."
Yeah.
And he didn't actually implement it. Nobody would have listened. Nobody would have cared. Nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
But he built it, and he was
Sure.
like, "Here it is."
Good
Facebook
point.
should have come out and said, "Yeah, we're Meta now, and here's the metaverse. Like, check it out."
Well, they had one. Horizon.
Yeah, but come on.
Well, maybe they just had bigger ambitions or bigger expectations for people to like gravitate towards it or something. But they're not wrong.
Imagine
in their
this.
assessment.
Imagine this.
Yeah.
Meta, or Facebook changes their name to Meta, and they show something like what Improbable showed on the second trip.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that like galvanize people? Wouldn't that be like, oh shit, now we're talking?
That would have been a good move for sure, without a doubt. Something new, right? Something
Yeah.
that people haven't seen before. Instead, they presented probably one of the most lackluster attempts
Oh, yeah.
at like anything ever that's ever been created, which is shocking to say the least. The fact that it's a company of that scale doesn't have enough like smart people in the room to like suggest like, dude, this is not like what we should be demonstrating. And like,
Dude, and the crazy thing is that Zuckerberg has so much power, he can do these things even though he's not wrong, he's wrong right now.
yeah,
Right.
agreed.
Because
Yeah.
if there was an actual like consensus as like the whole table in Facebook agrees, like, yeah, we need to change our name. Yeah, we agree the metaverse is the next big thing, and we have like this product that works, that's awesome. It's like, yes, but Zuckerberg has like 10x the voting power
yeah,
of his entire board.
yeah,
So what he says goes.
gotcha.
And so kind of right now he was wrong.
Wow.
He's too early. But
But
in the future he's right.
But still, like, nonetheless, however long it takes to get to that point, the infrastructure needs to be built, right? So he'll always be wrong unless they don't continue down their pathway of again.
See, but man,
figuring out
that's such a statement. Like, completely change your name, and then and then not have like a product that's like shocking. Like, it's just
I
a
think
weird
they have
move.
many shocking products. Remember their little presentation where they unveiled the old like the neural impulse controls and stuff like that.
I think you guys are looking at this a little wrong. I think they changed the name to justify the spending to build all this stuff.
Yeah, but
Well, you gotta present a narrative, right? Because this is a radical shift. Obviously, it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of, I guess, realizations across the board for people to see the value in this stuff. Because it's not about money yet, right? Money's the obvious value indicator in anything, but like that's why companies like Microsoft, Disney are pulling out because they're not making any money with this stuff. But still, you gotta have to buy into the vision, the concept, the understanding of what can be, right? Like,
yeah,
imagine
but
early internet.
every company has R&D. They're all spending money, billions of dollars on like research and development.
Yeah,
for like quantum computing, right? That's not readily accessible, but they're spending billions of dollars on it.
Yeah.
Fusion, all this stuff, like all this AI.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess what I'm saying is, if he was going to do this big show, change the name of Facebook to Meta, like the most iconic name, right, in capitalism, all of a sudden changes their name to a metaverse-focused type entity, but without anything to show for it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And so now Facebook changes their name. Microsoft's like, well, we definitely need to be in the metaverse. Disney, we definitely need to be in the metaverse. And looking around, I was like, where is it? Like, what can we do? How do we participate? Nobody knows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because there's no infrastructure.
No,
yet.
I know, but
That's like saying,
why would Facebook change their name if they know that there's no infrastructure?
Well, they're basically declaring like we're gonna build the internet, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
not just them. There needs to be a collective effort in building it. The internet wasn't built by what
that's
single
like
entity.
Satoshi saying we're going to build the new financial system. We're going to build the better monetary system without actually like having it built.
Well, I mean, he built one component of it, but he didn't. He's not going to be. He's not the one who's going to facilitate all of the decentralized financial ecosystem. Like a lot of,
but he built the most important component. The
thing is, he got the belief out there. He planted the seed in
because
humanity.
he built it.
Well, dude, Meta's not building anything.
Well, they haven't built anything that's like,
dude,
captivating.
For Satoshi, the task of rolling out Satoshi's like software program is nowhere comparable to what it is that has to be built.
Oh, absolutely, it is. He solved a big computational problem in computer science.
Okay, I get that. That's different. We're talking about like actual manpower that's needed in order to generate this much infrastructure.
Right, but imagine
solving a problem. Yeah, one man can solve a problem. That's not debatable.
Not only solve it, but implement it, and it worked.
It does work. Agreed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
but it
would have been more convincing had they shown something like Improbable has shown.
But they didn't, dude. That doesn't mean anything. Like, so what? What are you actually saying?
What I'm saying is, Facebook
they dropped the ball on their launch. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, and now you have like the results, right? Microsoft is pulling out. You know, all these people companies are pulling out.
Yeah, but so what? This is what growth. This is what adoption looks like. This is what growth cycles look like. Things like a road of innovation isn't like a steady linear line.
No, but they had nothing to show for it for like this big move, is what I'm saying. It's like, how are you going to convince anybody? How are you going to galvanize like an industry to move towards the metaverse when there's nothing to show for it?
Well, so can you find, the whole intention of this video is to find a positive spin out of this. You've done nothing but crush even further. Like the whole concept of the metaverse. You're saying
I'm talking about a very specific point in time. It's the inflection point of the metaverse. That the one where everybody learned what the metaverse was, which is the change in Facebook to Meta. That's when everybody was paying attention. Okay. So that doesn't mean right now, because companies are pulling out, the metaverse doesn't mean anything or it's not important or whatever. It is important. It is important because of a lot of these external factors. And you're right. We're not going to be able to build any infrastructure without people actually building the infrastructure. So there's the few of us who do believe, who are building infrastructure, and Facebook is still going to be building. It's just how, it doesn't make any sense that Facebook comes out with like this big, announcement. Like there's just, there's not enough to galvanize, right? And not enough to keep people engaged. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, but I think the general public now too, whenever they think of metaverse, they're thinking of Facebook.
They think Facebook.
Definitely. That's without a doubt.
So that's a win for them, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but still, it doesn't. Facebook, like, I don't know what is the metaverse? Like, how do you connect the metaverse to Facebook? Even though they coined the name, if you will, right? They took the zeitgeist of the word metaverse and they attached it to Facebook. But where's the, the product, the content, the reason to be in the metaverse? Like
I think you're expecting way too much, way too soon. Like you're not understanding again, like the amount of effort and work that's going to go into building the metaverse. You think one company can just roll it out like it's a fucking video game? That's not the metaverse. The metaverse is not a game.
Improbable did something.
Dude, that is not the metaverse either. They just have people jumping around.
Yeah, but that's important. That's an important piece, right? That
exactly. That's a piece.
That gives you the vision of what the metaverse could be.
See, now you're overhyping that other side of it.
I don't think so.
You're overhyping it big time. Big time.
So if that's okay, hold on. If that's an overhype, right? What Improbable did, then what was Facebook? What was Facebook changing the name to Metaverse? Where's the substance behind that?
Well, it's all everything encapsulated together. We're not just like one tech component of enabling more people to be like in a simultaneous shared space. That's not like enough to blow or to get the world to realize like, oh, the metaverse makes sense now because we see all these people jumping around.
So how did Facebook make the metaverse make sense with what they showed?
Well, obviously it does not, right? Otherwise we wouldn't have this dilemma.
Right.
But that's not their job to be the only thing, the only person who solves this problem.
Absolutely.
It's like saying any company's built the internet. No. It's just getting the ball rolling. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you have way too high of an expectation on them for sure. You and everybody else on this planet. That's a problem. And that's the reason why people are spinning up this negative
sentiment. It would be different if their part of the presentation was like, okay, here's our situation on the economy, right? Talking about how we got automation, all this stuff. It's like maybe we got to have some sort of like some sort of economic activity outside of our current existence.
Yeah, I mean
that would have been. It's like, okay, that makes sense. They're talking about like important stuff, like that would pique the interest of like really intelligent people who are following exactly what's going on with the economy and like its potential outcomes with automation and AI and all this stuff.
Yeah,
but they just claim like the metaverse is going to be the next platform for computing. It's like, okay, probably you're right, but how? Like why and when? And with what?
Yeah, you're definitely looking for too much too quickly, dude. Nobody has those answers.
So you weren't impressed by their avatar creation, huh?
Definitely not. Definitely.
Okay, got it.
It sounds like you're not impressed by anything other than what you saw from the other side. Like that's the only thing that impressed you.
Because they did something nobody else could do, right?
Well, Meta's building things nobody else can do either.
Yeah.
They're not completed product launches yet.
Yeah.
It took them 10 years to get to that point where they're able to do that.
I would have expected. I mean, Facebook. I mean, the output from Facebook in terms of like the technology they're trying to portray for the metaverse, like the sensors and the headsets and all that. That's like 10 years worth of work too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so all this is important. All I'm saying is it's like too much emphasis early on a technology where you can't really showcase like its potential.
No, I think that's totally fine. I think that's your misunderstanding again of adoption cycles. It's not supposed to make sense early on. It's supposed to be this confusing and this like radical when it's this early. You got to contextualize where we are in the growth maturity cycle of this whole industry, this whole technology, this whole layer of innovation.
Yeah.
And then nobody should be able to understand it intuitively. That's the point.
I don't know.
Any radical shift in technology does that, has that reaction. People see it, they don't get it.
Yeah, it's like you're talking about computers back in the 60s. People was like, why are you going to want a computer, this giant ass thing in your house?
Yeah, because they didn't show a fucking a MacBook in 1960 that we use today. All of a sudden doesn't mean like it's not worth it.
Right.
They just haven't gotten to that point yet.
But we also saw a new technology called artificial intelligence in its most nascent like piece, like the early beginnings of AI. Right, we're actually having access to it right now, but we can see
this isn't the most early version of AI. We've seen like earlier attempts with like freaking Siri, and like other Google products and stuff, and people didn't see the value in that either. It's like, no.
Well, yeah, it wasn't useful until ChatGPT came out, right?
The metaverse isn't useful yet either. That's the point. It's not supposed to make this much sense this early on. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Your expectations are way too high, and
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to be spending billions of dollars, I feel like there's got to be some sort of element that you can start leveraging today or next year or something like that. If you're going to be changing your name.
Well, dude, that's the purpose of their companies again. And there's nothing to really offer yet until the infrastructure is built up.
Yeah,
I mean that's got to be realized across the entire industry. That's why people come and visit these modern day metaverses. They're not impressed. Again, because they're interacting with a 1960s PC.
Right.
Yeah, the fucking basically a calculator. They're not impressive. They don't even have like a presentable UI yet.
Yeah.
So there's so much shit that needs to be improved. But nonetheless, like the purpose is that the metaverse is going to come no matter what. There's enough people working on it, contributing towards it. Just like people contributing towards the acceleration of computer devices and software and all this stuff.
Right.
But you can't expect to be blown away like right away. You just can't.
I don't know. I feel like there's like for example, Fusion, right? I'm blown away just because they solved the big deal again. They solved
how long did it take for that?
Well,
Fusion?
for sure,
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
You weren't blown away. You didn't even pay attention for the last 40 years.
But think about how Fusion, they've been working on it for the last 40 years because they knew the potential of it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what Meta's doing.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why I know. I totally agree. What all I'm saying is these companies that got in there and started like investing in like this whole metaverse thing, they did it in a time where they were looking at, or they were convinced that a 60s computer was going to change the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so right now they're not convinced. They're not convinced. That's my point.
Well, yeah, obviously, and that's again part of the growth adoption cycle. Whoever's convinced early on, they're going to build infrastructure and they're going to profit later.
Oh, for sure. And so these particular companies like Microsoft and who is it, Disney?
Yeah,
they have major IP, especially Disney. They're like users of the metaverse, right? They're not builders of the metaverse, so
they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Arguably, Microsoft probably should have some kind of interest.
Yeah, because they had a headset, the HoloLens.
Oh yeah, but still, just because it's a major tech company, that if this is going to become like the next evolution of the internet space, they have to find their way and position how they're going to facilitate something within that ecosystem,
absolutely.
right? Again, it's going to be many companies that are going to contribute towards this. So, in my opinion, Microsoft, but like we said, economic conditions, they got to weigh out these things. And in the now, they could always come back once the economy picks back up and kickstart this division.
Yeah, and the biggest takeaway for this is, even though we have Microsoft and Disney pulling out, that is not an indictment of the metaverse. That's the most important thing. Is their users. They're looking to leverage the metaverse because they also agree it's important.
Yeah.
There's no way to leverage it right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It just goes back to the whole infrastructure thesis. So
what
again, one of our top sectors to look out for, at least in the Web3 space, has always been metaverse infrastructure for this year.
So let's establish an indicator where it's like the metaverse is like in trouble. Like, what would that be? Like Facebook pulling out? It's like we're going back to Facebook and we're going to focus on AI.
The metaverse is in trouble? I don't think that's ever going to happen, independent of Facebook or not. I think
somebody has to be working on metaverse, right? So there are a few, right?
There's a lot. There's a lot of people working on the metaverse.
But just there's going to be some setback. I'm trying to figure out like what is like if we can see Microsoft and Disney pulling out, and we know that this is not a big deal. What would be a big deal? Is what I'm trying to get at.
I don't know, some sort of like government ban, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I think just like this is going to grow and mature organically, just like Bitcoin and crypto did.
Yeah.
In the beginning of Bitcoin, it was a very small, isolated group, very ideological, libertarian, whatever the fuck. Over time, that community grew, attracted more and more developers. And before you know it, we got this thriving Web3 ecosystem going on that now,
I can see that.
That now is threatening government, stability at this point, and financial stability.
Yeah.
Like, so now it's a thing.
Yeah.
So
now they're in Congress, they're talking about it.
Yeah. Right? The metaverse is not going away no matter what. It doesn't matter. Big tech doesn't have to be the one to build it. Like the people built Web3, not tech, not companies.
Yep.
The people will build the metaverse too. We'll figure out a way just because it's in our nature. We always find a way to progress, and we're heading towards the digital no matter what. It's already happened through our entire existence. We've adopted the digital. We're abandoning the physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the way it is.
And there's a lot of forces that sort of lead to this conclusion anyways, outside of like just the desire of it. Yeah. So yeah, let us know.
So that was like a mini podcast in itself. So I guess tune into our next podcast because we're going to have to we're going
to go deeper
on this and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. We talked about Microsoft and Disney pulling out of the metaverse. If you have any additional thoughts, let us know in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and at Rovi AI. We will catch you in the next video.
Peace.